A patient undergoing therapy told the doctor about a significant improvement in her health that day. The doctor revises diagnoses, stress, schizophrenia, recording positive dynamics in the patient. The woman is discharged home to her husband and son. In the evening, while her husband sleeps in front of the TV, she goes upstairs to start all over again. Time passes. Son Alex, lost earlier, has matured, is studying at university, and is passionate about psychology and occult sciences. One day, Alex's teacher explained that the world is multidimensional, and only humans are capable of perceiving and understanding these different dimensions. Only humans, unlike animals, are able to perceive reality, including the passage of time. Seeking transcendence, he resorts to substances or spiritual techniques to go beyond the ordinary. Perhaps, by expanding your awareness, you will be able to penetrate into the astral world. The message causes skepticism among Alex's friends, but he shows interest and asks questions. The teacher explains, there is a concept called astral projection. She states that the soul can leave the body to reach another plane of existence. Without rejecting psychics who communicate with spirits, this person advises trusting scientific data. In conclusion, the lecturer suggests choosing this theory for research. Friends argue about how he left. Ben learned that those who have been in the astral plane feel like jet pilots. Very exhausting for the body. He convinces that bloggers open doors to different realities. He doesn't intend to waste time on such nonsense. Alexa is very interested in this topic. He goes to the library with ancient books. According to some sources, beginners may inadvertently summon negative entities. Alice, in love, wants to be with her boyfriend, but he is not interested in a relationship and avoids partying with her. Before going to bed, he lies down, following the book's advice, striving for astral projection. However, he fails constantly. When meeting with friends in the morning, he admitted that astral travel is nonsense after his attempts. Alice, worried, warns Alex against this topic, despite the ridicule of her comrades. Friends, knowing about his strong interest in the astral plane, suggested contacting the professor as a pioneer in the study of this topic. The student approaches the teacher expressing a desire to gain practical experience, but has difficulty choosing a starting point. The man does not understand the purpose of the thing. He's sure it's not fun. Despite this, he admitted that he also once showed interest in this area. According to the works, the theory of astral projection involves the exit of the soul from the body and its movement into the spiritual realms. Alex admitted that he seeks to contact the spirits to reveal the truth about the past. The teacher recommends the book by Michelle Koretz, who suffered for this research, as a valuable work. Scientific research was not accepted by the university. The teacher can share his experience, but there is no guarantee that it will be useful. Having finished the conversation, Alex is faced with the distrust of his friends, who believe that his passion for mysticism has crossed the boundaries of reasonable research. He won't go to the party, despite the invitation, which saddens Alice. The phone rang, and he wanted to talk. Trying to persuade him to go to the holiday together, the girl chases the guy and unwittingly overhears his nervous conversation with his father. Alex reproached him for hiding the truth about his mother's departure and avoiding any conversations about her. He felt deceived. He remembers their first conversation about her leaving and his resentment over his father's hiding the truth. Now he avoids this topic because he has lost trust in his father and his words. Alone at night, Alex began exploring the astral plane, trying to make his first astral exit. Anxious, Alice dials Alex, but he does not answer her incoming call. Suddenly, he remembers his mother's things, taken from his father, and discovers a cross there. He then follows the instructions and focuses on breathing while lying on his back. The goal is to mislead the brain into falling asleep. Then comes muscle paralysis, an intermediate phase between sleep and reality. At this moment, repeating words about calmness, you can feel separation from the body. He is one with the universe and is able to travel to any place at will. Alex performs these actions. Strange sounds surround him. His vision becomes blurred, as if the world around him is losing stability. Alice will call him in the morning. The young man rushed to his friends, saying that he had been to the astral. They ridicule him and demand that he record what is happening to prove the reality of the event. The girl objects. The soul is incorporeal, which means she cannot physically hold the camera. The young people argue, and Ben invites Alex to test his theory. Spiritual energy allows you to use the pendulum as a source. In the astral plane, Alex needs to touch the guide, Its movement will indicate the influence of the soul. The comrades will film what is happening on camera. The company starts working. Alex assembles the pendulum following online instructions. Jordan prepared his camera and encouraged the young man. Alice shares her love experiences with her friend, but she is perplexed. Why does Alice hide her feelings for Alex? Alice explains that she knows about the difficulties in the guy's relationship with his father and does not want to put pressure on him. Apparently, his fascination with the astral is caused by this. Tonight, Alex repeats the experiment. The light flickers and the pendulum swings as if obeying an invisible force. The young man tosses and turns in bed anxiously, as if something was gnawing at him. The next day, after watching the recording together, Jordan explains the visible oscillation of the pendulum as a normal draft in the room. Others also ridicule this evidence despite having previously defended it. Alex reported that he observed his body as if from the outside. Suddenly, Jordan sees the pendulum moving again, although Alex is clearly in a state of sleep. The guy claims the window was not open. That same night, he again tries to go to the astral plane. The story is cyclical. The camera glides over the wool. The pendulum continues to swing. Alex was awakened by a vague anxiety, the source of which remained unknown to him. In the morning, he studies the night recording and shows his friends the unusual shadow in the video. So this is true. We need to admit it. Whose shadow is there? Was he really capturing his own spirit in the photograph? Alex explores online forums about shady people, realizing that his experiences are shared by others. People who try to enter the astral often end up encountering these phenomena. Experts called for abandoning such actions because they carry a great risk. That evening, Alex's friend, Jordan, noticed something unusual in the room, but decided that it was an electrical problem. And also noticed something unusual the next morning. He was suddenly deprived of support from below. It pops into Jordan's head. In the evening in the hall, he noticed a shadow that disappeared when the lights came on. Ben finds it funny, but Jordan is dead serious. Alex then sends a message to a doctor who runs an online blog about the supernatural. Whispers in the kitchen wake up Alex. He is sure that the neighbors are awake at this late hour. However, the room is empty. There is not a soul there. In the morning, he goes to the psychologist at the center, where he receives him and listens to him. The young man enthusiastically shares stories, and the doctor suddenly remembers that he helped his mother in the past. The cross gave away his identity immediately. He shared the story of a meeting with a patient suffering from acute psychosis. Alex immediately reproaches the doctor. The patient was sent home prematurely without completing the treatment. He says she's almost recovered, despite complaining of strange hallucinations. Alex is angry, but the doctor assures that he now understands his problem better and is ready to help. He disappears. He is haunted by eerie visions and nightmares, noticeable even to those around him. Mysterious whispers surround you, and wonderful aromas fill the air around you. As darkness falls, it seems to him that he is not alone, but Alice appears, concerned about his well-being. She doesn't hear Alex's sounds, but she opens up to him about her feelings. However, the young man claims that he does not control himself. He values friendship, fearing its possible end. She proposed creation, and he agreed. Waking up at night, the young man feels an eerie presence behind him. Then the girl is suddenly dragged out of bed. Alice wakes up confused. Alex reports that someone or something unexplained appeared in his room. The young man visits the doctor again in the morning, asks for forgiveness for his rudeness, saying that he recently learned the truth from his father. He admitted, the situation is getting worse and becoming more confusing. He observes ghosts, and yesterday he was visited by a ram man in the form of a shadow. The doctor suddenly admitted powerlessness and suggested contacting a more competent specialist in this field. The phenomenon of shadow people has existed for a long time. Exit to the astral plane can open gates that allow evil entities to enter our world. Alex was sharing his thoughts with Alice when he suddenly noticed Colin's book in her possession, remembering the professor's story. The address of this woman, who now makes her living with predictions and psychic abilities, is discovered on the internet. The visitor obeys the doctor's instructions, allowing the diagnosis to be carried out. The young man was dealt cards. The first to change, the second to the extremely undesirable consequences of these changes. The third card frightens the soothsayer. Alex's arrival was accompanied by some sinister entity, perhaps invisible. The young man is interested in Michelle's book, but she interrupts the conversation, believing her creation to be a serious oversight. The girl asks the guys to leave, but their rise is prevented by a knock on the wall. Michelle invites them to sit down and informs them that Alex is surrounded by demons rushing into our world. They have to return them. One of them is incredibly powerful and poses a serious threat. It is possible to get rid of trouble only by knowing its essence. Alex is the only one who can do this. Michelle insists on immediate astral projection, but the guy, fearing the consequences, declines the request. Once in the world of the demon, Alex will become his equal and will be able to demand his name, the woman explains. The young man agreed. The three of them held hands. Michelle lit special candles, told them to look at the fire, and began to read prayers. Shaking immediately began. The table began to shake, the lamps swayed. Michelle screamed, demanding that the demons say his name. An evil force is rampant, trying to take control of Alex. Unearthly voices communicate with people, and Michelle answers them in an incomprehensible dialect. Suddenly, the woman's expression changes, but she assures Alice that it is the demon trying to deceive. And suddenly Alex rushes at the girl and begins to choke her. Michelle prays out loud for his spirit to return. At climax, he regains control of his body, realizing that his journey in the other world had consequences. Alex later introduced Alice to his father after visiting him. Suddenly, in a conversation, he realizes that on the evening of his mother's death, he created a drawing. On it was the frightening dark figure seen by both of them at that fateful moment.